We are live. I'd like to welcome everyone to another episode of Heart to Heart with Bree. Tonight's guest is my friend Megan Wade. Megan, would you please introduce yourself to the viewers?
Thanks, Bridget. Thanks for having me. I'm Megan Wade. I'm the author of the book Release to Shine. I also am a trainer, a speaker, a coach. And it is a pleasure to be here to talk about my book, Released to Shine.
I'm holding my copy right here. You can purchase this off Amazon. That's where I ordered my copy. And it's not an expensive book. It's not a very long read. And I can say that I'm very pleased with this purchase, Megan. I didn't even tell you that I was going to purchase it. I sent you a picture when I did, and I'm very pleased with the purchase.
Wonderful, wonderful. It's an easy to read book.
Yes,
Easy
it
to
is. Yes, it is. So, as you said, your book is Released to Shine, a basic guide for career and job seekers. There are so many people today that are looking for jobs. And if you have not looked for a job in a long time, things have changed. Things
Mhm.
have definitely changed. So I'm hoping that tonight you will hear something that will encourage you and something that will motivate you. So before we get started, Megan, I would like you to read Proverbs 4:23.
Sure. Keep thy heart with all diligence, for out of it are the issues of life. And that is from the King James Version.
Yes. And I'll be reading First Peter 5:7. Cast all your anxiety on him because he cares for you.
Wonderful.
I am hoping that tonight that those who are discouraged with their job search or frustrated with their job and they're ready to change careers, that they'll hear something tonight that will help them. So, Megan, I'll get started with my first question. Why did you dedicate Release to Shine to your mother?
Bridget, I love to talk about my mother.
I know you do. That's why I asked that question.
I just got done worshiping with her. She has been the greatest influence in my life. My mother has always been a godly woman, a family oriented woman, someone who loved her children, loved us. And I say love because my mother has dementia. So, although she has dementia, we still have worship with her. I worship with her every single day
That's
because
so
she was very
good.
spiritual. And we had family worship every morning and evening. And my favorite worship time, though, was on a Friday evening. A family of seven children, parents, and my aunt. Her youngest sister lived with us. And we would sing. That was the only worship time that we were able to sing more than one hymn. Okay. And during that period, everybody's favorite hymn was sang. So that's 10 songs. And then three other special songs were done and 10 prayers. So, that was a long worship. And we enjoyed every minute of it. We were involved in church. We had to be because Mama was involved and we all had to be involved.
Yes.
She did something that was, I think it has touched my life where community service is. We had
Yes.
cows. My father had several cows and goats, and we had chickens. And every morning, my father would go and milk the cows. And after milking those cows and taking the milk to the home, Mama would bottle them. And every family that had an elderly person or a child, a bottle of milk was given to them and
That's
some
so
eggs
nice.
because we had chickens and eggs were laid every day. And so those were given away. So I saw my parents as giving people. They gave, they took care of people who needed, people who were less fortunate than we were. All of us attended different schools. Well, two of us went to the Cartwright College, two to Manchester High, three to West Indies College. And Mama never missed a PTA meeting. And let me tell you something, she didn't drive. She did not drive, but she did not miss a PTA meeting. All our teachers knew our mother. And we had,
Yes.
therefore, we had to behave because
Yes.
she's grown and they will be sharing things about us with her. So, those are some of the things, Bridget. It would take me several hours to really tell you everything about this wonderful woman, but she has been my influence. So, when I decided to write this book, there's nobody else that I could think to dedicate it to but my darling mother.
That is so beautiful, Megan. And I hope it inspires all the other mothers out there because it does pay off when you invest in your children. It really does. Thank you for tuning in, Mikey. Thank you so much. Since I've known you, you talk about your mother so much. I feel as if I know her personally. But I wanted to ask you that question because I knew that you would like to share about your mother.
Thank you.
My next question is, why did you write Release to Shine?
Bridget, there are people who are often confused about how to navigate the job search market, resume writing, and job interviews. People are terrified of these experiences. However, because I've worked one on one with individuals who are job searching from my days of teaching college, then working in a private nonprofit, I saw the need for this guide. And I thought, why not? There are people with little or no self-confidence because
Yes.
perhaps their past experiences, which could be a prison record or frequent job losses. And I thought, why not help this population by writing this little book? And there,
I'm so glad that you did because I've been on my past job on my job now. I've been there for 6 years.
yes.
And before getting this job, I can tell you I went through a long period of unemployment. And I remember how frustrating the process was. So
Mhm,
that's why I was so drawn to your book because it can be a time of depression, a
mhm.
time of people getting so frustrated they
Yeah,
think that they'll never find a job. And that's why I wanted us to read those scriptures earlier, because I think encouragement goes a long way, which is a part of your book. I love that.
absolutely.
So I believe that your book can be helpful to anyone that is starting over. Do you agree? Doesn't
Uh,
have to be prison, doesn't have to be just anyone that's starting over in general.
that is correct. And this is why it's called a basic guide. It is simple, and the instructions, if you follow them, you'll be okay. The book is an encouragement to me.
Yes. Yes, what
And
I like about it, what I like about your book, you even have there are like you can write notes.
yes,
No, I
a
love that
workbook. It's
feature.
a
And like
workbook.
it's
Yes.
not a very long book.
Mm-mm.
So the thing is you can keep going through it. I mean, I love it. I really do.
Yes, it is a workbook.
Yes, like I said, the way you put it together, I think it will help a lot of people. Let's
Mhm.
talk about chapter 1. Mindset is everything. How important is mindset?
It is very important. The mind is the most powerful tool that we possess. Every decision that we make, every action, every response comes from the mind. And it is not easy to maintain a positive mindset, especially
It's
when
not.
you're going through periods of rejection.
Yes,
Putting these rejection letters, some people don't even bother to write you
it's
after
true.
you have applied for a job. And it can be a daunting process. Therefore, one has to maintain that positive mindset. How do you do that? It is something that you have to be determined to do. Intentionality is important to
Yeah.
maintain that mindset. And here we started off by reading scriptures. My
Yes.
book, every chapter starts with a quote and a scripture to encourage the reader. Because if it, for example, I think the first chapter starts with, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. That's the first chapter, right, Bridget?
Let me take a look at the first chapter.
Yes, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. If you read that scripture every single morning,
Yes.
or you can type it, paste it on your dress up, paste it somewhere where you see it every day, it will help to encourage you. Take
Yes.
walks. Take your walk. So you're job searching, you take your walk, have your devotional period, and take a walk. Take
Yes, I agree. And you have a quote by Nelson Mandela. It always seems impossible until it's done.
yeah.
And that is the truth. When you're going through the process
Mhm.
and you're getting the rejection letters, and as you stated earlier, that some jobs don't even bother to send a rejection letter. You
Yes,
know,
yes.
I think we have to learn to trust the process. I mean,
Abs-
what's your opinion on that?
The process is usually hard. And we're going to get to that, Bridget,
Yes.
because I like to talk about the butterfly.
Yes.
Analogy of the butterfly is powerful.
Yes, it is.
And when you think of that struggle that that butterfly goes through, the caterpillar goes through to become a butterfly, such a beautiful creature,
Yes.
but that struggle is real. And as that butterfly is pushing against that cocoon, the wings are being strengthened. If you should cut that cocoon, you hurt the butterfly. It will not
Right.
be
You won't be helping. Yeah, it's true. You won't be helping them. Yeah, it's true.
the same thing with the process that we go through. It's painful, it's frustrating. You feel humiliated, even.
Yes.
But remember, this is building your character,
Yes,
it's
it is.
building resilience.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
And then
Please
you,
talk.
sorry, you can tell somebody else about it.
No, but you know what, Megan? That is so true. I remember when I was looking for a job, and I mean, there were some jobs I was just so sure I would get them. But looking back, I realized it wasn't meant for me. And like you said, we have to really, it develops character, it humbles us. It's like sometimes we go through these things for a reason, you know.
Absolutely.
So,
Absolutely.
your chapter 2, Release to Shine. Please talk about your release to shine concept.
Okay, I started this chapter with the analogy of the butterfly because you know I love to talk about that caterpillar turning into butterfly. We just shared it a while ago. A painful process. Whatever situation that you are coming out of, you are released to shine. And I want
Yeah.
to name some people who are released to shine, and they're shining right now. Andre Norman. He's called the ambassador of hope, spent 14 years in prison, 2.5 years in solitary confinement. But Andre epitomized release to shine. So does Cardell Sims. So does Professor David Carello. So does Professor Aaron Kinzel. So does Chris Wilson, who wrote the book, The Master Plan. Attorney James White, prison professor Michael Santos. All of these men were released from prison to shine, and they're shining brightly. And some of them, I tell you, I'm so proud of these guys that whenever I talk about release to shine, I have to mention even one of them because
Yes.
they were released from situations that could have killed them,
Yes.
situations that could have destroyed them. But
Yes.
guys, They have resilience. They have shown resilience. And I am so proud of them. I am a fan of every one of these men whose names I called.
Thank you for sharing that. And I'd like to even bring in, I think about women who left abusive marriages,
Yes,
women who, went through divorces for whatever reason. I'm not here to judge. I'm divorced myself. But think about it. Sometimes people are thinking, well, I'm this age, so it's over, you know, and they don't understand. Like, I look at it as being released from a toxic situation, being released to shine, as you say. And I love the idea of that, being released to shine. It doesn't necessarily have to be a prison situation, whatever the situation was that
please.
you needed that. Sometimes you're wishing, I wish I could get a new job, or I wish I could get a fresh start. I wish I could go back to school. There is always hope. And I'm telling you, your song on page 14.
Okay, let me find it. But Bridget, while you were talking about release to shine, I too am divorced. I too
Yes.
am divorced. But what I want to just put here is that many women who are divorced feel that it's really the end of the world.
And it's
Oh,
not.
yeah.
It's just the
It's the
beginning.
end of one chapter and the
Yes.
beginning of another. And for those who are released from any situation, that's what it is. The end of
Yes.
one chapter and the beginning of
Yeah,
another.
I had to bring that up because I want everyone to know, no matter what your situation is, you could be a single mother.
Yes.
That person walked away from you. Look
Yes.
at it as, like they said, rejection sometimes is God's protection.
Absolutely.
You're being released to shine. So Megan, I'd like you to read your song. It's on page 14.
Sure. You believe it's over. You feel pushed aside, perhaps overlooked for a youthful mind. You're released to shine. Those incarcerated, believing that life's unkind, your mistakes are a thing of the past. Just have a clearer mind. And the chorus says, believe in yourself, knowledge, and wisdom. It's not about your age, but your attitude. And these were words that I used with clients of mine. I've used these words with clients. And that was how Release to Shine came about, because I was speaking to a client and I was saying to her, it's not your age, it's your attitude. Remember, you were released to shine. That was how it came about. Believe in yourself, knowledge and wisdom. You're released to shine because whatever situation you're coming out of, you have knowledge and you
Yes,
have
you do.
wisdom, because we're always learning from the pain
Yes.
that we
Yes.
experience. Believe in yourself, knowledge and wisdom. It's not about the charge, nor what you've done. Don't sit there and think about the charge, the choices, the mistakes, but use them as stepping stones to be better.
I
Believe
agree.
in yourself, knowledge and wisdom. You are released to shine. You are released to shine. And this is repeated 4 times. You are released to
I
shine.
love this. I love this, Megan. It's so encouraging. That shoulda, woulda, coulda is not going to help.
Not at all.
Learn from the situation. When we go through pain, I say it all the time, like, don't waste it. Put it to use. What was the lesson? When you're
Yes,
down in the valley, that's when you learn the best lessons. That's
absolutely.
that is my firm belief. Not that I don't know anyone that wants to be there, but when you're there for a reason. You
It's in the
know,
valley I grow.
yes. Yes, I definitely agree. My next question, Megan, is chapter 3, develop a plan.
Yes.
How important is it to have a plan?
Bridget, my mother used to say, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail.
Ooh, repeat that, repeat that, repeat that.
Mother used to say, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. We must set a plan, especially someone who is looking for work. You must have a routine. Create a routine for yourself. What I did, I've been out of work too. And what I've done is to create a full routine, because if you don't, you will waste your days and your time.
It's true.
So you put on paper, what time do you normally wake up? And what is the first thing you want to do? You want to give thanks. So you have that devotion. Then you have a little exercise. Then you have something to eat. And then you get to work. Start working.
Yes.
And you make your to-do list or your planner, or whatever you want to call it. How will you spend your day? Will you spend 2 hours or 3 hours job searching? Will you spend another 2 hours uh, practicing a skill or learning a new skill? What
Yes,
will you do? When will you take breaks? So you set up that routine for yourself, because you must take breaks.
of course.
That's important. If it's even 5 minutes, you must get up from where you are and take a break, stretch, walk, do something. And then you get back to it again. Start job
Yes,
searching again, another 2 hours for job searching again. And then another 2 hours is spent on your skill, because we always want to learn something new. Learn Excel,
definitely.
learn to do PowerPoint presentations, do something. Do you want to learn to speak? If you are coming out of prison, I can tell you too that you already have a story. So you just need to put that together in
Yes,
order and start doing public speaking,
yes,
motivational speaking. Go into the juvenile centers and speak to the young people who are there. Then you write your book. Who knows? You will be standing on stage and speaking. So while you're looking for work, you're taking care of you and learning new skills. And please be kind to yourself. I know people will
yes.
sit there and bemoan all the mistakes that you've made in life. That's not important. All of us have made mistakes in
All
life.
of us.
And some of us, our mistakes might not have put us in prison, but guess what? That's your experience, and you
Yes,
learn from it and grow from it.
yes, yes. You know, I understand that it's easy to become depressed during this time. You
Mhm.
know, what would you say to that person that is struggling with depression? Because you just said it. This is not the time to be dwelling on the past.
Yeah.
Let's move forward. But there are some people who struggle with the idea of moving forward without beating themselves up.
Mhm.
How important is it to fight against that? Because this is where I think, our spiritual life is important. That reminder how much God loves us,
Mhm.
and that, we're not our past mistakes.
Yes.
No matter what it is, let's try. I like the idea of learning something new, practicing skills, because it's about being productive.
Yes.
That old saying, idle hands are the devil's workshop.
Oh, yeah.
When you find too much time on your hands and you're not using it in a productive way,
Mhm.
it's not a good thing. So I'd
Mhm.
like you to address that once again, just to remind the viewers that it's okay. We all have a past. There's
Mhm.
no one perfect on this earth. We've
Yes.
all made mistakes.
Absolutely. All of us have made mistakes. And some people, their extent of depression, though, requires counseling.
True.
Seek out a counselor. And there are counselors who will not charge you. They could be in your congregation at church.
Yes, it's
They may
true.
put this on as a project for them,
Yes.
just to help you to get through those hard places. Talk to the
Yes.
pastor, say, I would like to meet the counselor or a counselor from the church. You find someone to talk to,
Yes. That
someone
is
you
that is
can
so
trust,
important.
someone you can trust, someone who will listen. Because I have a friend who was released from prison. And the thing is, because he is an educated person, people who go into prison as educated people, it's hard for them. It
Yes.
is much harder for them to move on.
Yes.
And this gentleman struggles. And it doesn't matter how much encouragement that I give, He's struggling. So he had to find a counselor.
That's good. That's good.
Because,
And
yes,
that's good. That is definitely good advice. I'd like to welcome Andrew and I'd like to welcome Lennon. Lashley, thank you so much for tuning in.
wonderful.
Chapter 4, job searching.
Yes.
In today's world, it's a very discouraging process. It's not, I remember when I was younger, it wasn't hard to find a job. It really wasn't. Now everything is online. It can be very discouraging and overwhelming. Let's talk about job searching.
Job searching, I've often told my clients that job searching should be treated as full time work.
It's a job.
Up to job search. Start with something that is challenging for you, which is challenging for me too. Networking.
Yes.
Start networking. Build a profile. Create your profile on LinkedIn. I tell you, 2015, I started teaching college students. And as I taught them this course, Career Exploration and Planning, I had to teach these students to build a LinkedIn profile. So I created one myself and I never used it. I was so shy to reach out to people I'm teaching, but extremely shy. And eventually I deleted it because somebody had hacked into it.
Yes.
I deleted it. But networking is important. Create that LinkedIn profile and network with people. And especially if you're an introvert, it is so much harder. But push yourself out of that comfort zone and do this. Now, join a Toastmasters club. That's a very good place to go to and meet people.
I've heard that.
Into I went and I met people for 2 months. They could not get me to speak. I was so shy. And then I wrote my first speech. Then I did my second speech and my third speech. And you know what? I applied for a job to teach college and I did it. I did so well in my interview just because what I thought was a lack of confidence that I had was just my ego. My ego was shattered for a moment
Yes.
because we all have ego. It's not just men who have ego. All of us have a
True.
little
It's
ego,
true. It's true.
right?
It's
And here,
true.
join a Toastmasters club and get involved. Get involved. Toastmasters helps with leadership skills and public speaking. Get involved. Join a Rotarian club or a Kiwanis club. These are clubs that get involved. They're involved in community service, which will give you that opportunity to be rubbing shoulders with people who are taking care of others. One of the best ways to take care of you is to help somebody else who needs.
It's true.
And then you just take that interest off you, and you find that when you're helping somebody else, things are happening for you. And people are
It's
always
true.
looking. Let's listen. People are always looking.
It's
If
true.
you are wanting a job in higher education, then the Chronicle of Higher Education and Higher Ed Jobs are two platforms that you need to create profiles on. That's what I have to say for that.
And would you say, Andrew says fear is holding us back. And I do agree, Andrew. I think sometimes sometimes, fear and embarrassment. But what I am learning is that when you let people know you're looking for a job, sometimes you just have to put it out there and reach out to people because sometimes this person knows someone else that knows someone else and you just never know. I can tell you that the past few jobs that I've had, it was because I reached out to friends. They helped me to find the jobs that I had. The job that I have now, I wouldn't have gotten that job if I didn't start working on my last job, and it was a church sister,
Mhm.
and I started working in the warehouse
Mhm.
because that's what they had available. a manual labor job. I remember crying every day because I just felt like this is not the job for me, but it led to the job that I have now.
Wow.
So I think sometimes we have to, what's your opinion on this? Sometimes you may get a job. Some people will say it's beneath them, or it's, their skills are like they are above what they're, what this job is about. But I think sometimes it's just about, hey, as long as you're bringing some income in, you can keep looking while you're doing the job that maybe you may not like it, but to me, a job is a job.
Yeah, I want to share something with you. There's a little young man that I've known since he was a little baby. And this young man is highly educated. He could not get a job. And what he did was to volunteer. He volunteered with a hospital and he wanted to work there. And he volunteered with these people and they took him on staff. Just 2019, they sent him to Italy for a year
Wow.
to do specialized training. Let me tell you something. The best way to get into that dream job is to volunteer.
That's a good idea.
Meant asked to be mentored.
Yes.
If
Yes.
people are
Yeah.
talking about jobs beneath them, as long as it is nothing that is degrading, and let me repeat that. If that job is not degrading, and you know what degrading is, right?
Yes.
Then nothing is wrong with you taking that job. It does
You know,
not
it's
matter. That,
I totally agree. Megan, when I remember the day that I went and applied for this job,
yes.
and the manager had on a designer dress, I had on my high heels, my makeup. He said to me, I don't think this is a job for you, but I said to him, look, I need a job right now. I can't be picky. And I remember I was outside waiting for a ride, and he came out and he handed me a list of administrative jobs. And he said, I think you're better suited for these jobs. But I said to him, look, if you'll hire me, I will do the job.
Mhm.
And we laugh about it to this day. He told me, I honestly thought you'd last about 2 days. And I remember the first time I handled a pallet jack.
Yes.
I could see them laughing at me, but I remember thinking to myself, they don't think I'll last. So it was my pride that pushed me to do it. I did that job for about 2 years, but when I spoke to my therapist about it, she said this job is a perfect job for you because this was right after my son died. She said
Mhm.
you need a job that's not going to take a lot of thinking. It's just a job, not putting down the job, but she said it's just something that, it's just something to keep you going and you
Right.
don't have to focus on it too hard. And I
Mhm.
tell you what, that job, it helped me because I was doing physical work. It
Mhm.
helped me during the grieving period.
Wonderful.
And it
Won-
led to the job that I have now
There you
because
go.
it's like people get to know you and it's like people would ask, why is she doing this job? But
Mhm.
a job is a job,
Yeah.
so I'm very thankful for that opportunity. Andrew says, learn to reinvent yourself. And I think that's very important. What's your
Wonderful.
opinion on that, Megan?
Absolutely. Because listen, I was in banking for almost what 21 years. I was in
Wow.
banking. And then I migrated to the United States. None of the banks would hire me because I said that I think it was I was asked if I enjoy working under pressure. And I said, quite frankly, yeah, I work under pressure, but I don't think they liked my answer because I said to them that I really don't find myself stressed out for deadlines because
Yes.
plan. I do plan ahead. So this being stressed out and tearing out my hair when a report is due or so, that doesn't happen to me. So I could not get a job in the banking system here in America. So what did I do? I went to work in HR for a group of companies. I was their HR manager. And then I went to teach college students. I also taught high school students. I had to reinvent myself.
That's
And I love it.
I'm really hoping that the viewers are listening to everything that you're saying, because I think sometimes when we're willing to step out of our comfort zone, we'd be amazed at the things that may happen for us.
Yeah.
So, chapter 5, Megan,
Yeah.
preparing for employment. How important is preparation? And how, like you talked about it, seeking a job is a job. It really and truly is.
Mhm.
How important is preparation? And especially, like, I think of, you know, an older job seeker who
Mhm.
may not have computer skills, who may not know how to use a computer at all. How important is it to brush up on skills like that, or to learn these skills?
It is important to learn how to use the computer, because if
Yes.
you don't, you are going to have severe challenges.
Yes.
Someone who does not want to use technology will be left behind. There are basic computer courses being offered at our libraries. Please take take the opportunity and learn. But one place that I'll tell you to start is to do a survey. If you're not sure what to do, you've been out of the job market for a long time, there is a site called Onet online.
How do
Look
you
for
spell that?
ONET, Onet online.
Okay.
Look for the Onet interest profiler or My Next Move, and you
Okay.
take that survey. It will give you an idea of the different careers that suit your strengths and your
Okay.
personality, right? And that will help you to move on. After you've done that survey, think about what industry you would like to work in. Select an industry and then decide which companies within that industry you want to work in, you want to work with. And those three companies, select three at first. Don't select a whole lot. Select three at first. And tomorrow, starting tomorrow, you do a research on that company, or you could start now, tonight. What do you like about this organization? Why would you like to work with them? What is it that they're doing that speak to your heart? Because we don't want to just take a job to work somewhere where we're really not interested.
It's true.
Because whatever you do, you should love it. Teaching for me is fun. It doesn't pay much, but I am having fun.
Yes, that's the
I
important
enjoy
part.
every minute of it. It's the most satisfying job I've ever had. Yet it's the one that pays the least.
I
But
think it's better to make less money, to be honest with you, and have peace of mind and enjoy your work.
absolutely, absolutely. Then think about the experiences you've had. What experiences do you have? What qualifications do you have? What is the job asking for? Is this company hiring? And what are the jobs that are available? Are you qualified, or do you have a few of the items that they're asking for? Because, for example, I've often said to my clients, if a company is asking for 13, they have listed 13 skills that they're looking for, and you have 10, apply. If you have 9, apply. If you have 8, apply. But if you only have one, don't frustrate yourself. Don't frustrate.
That is so true. The job that I have now, I remember receiving a call from a manager that, they were putting me in for this job. And I remember being intimidated because I lacked the technical skills. And I remember he said to me, "We have a gentleman he's flying in from Texas and he'll spend 3 weeks to train you." And I remember thinking, oh my gosh, they're sending a guy from Texas to Florida to train me. I was a bit overwhelmed because I did not want to let myself down. I didn't want to let the company down. But I tell you what, the instructor was wonderful. He was very patient.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, I I've become much better at it. I wouldn't say I perfected the skills as I would like to, but it's my goal to get better. But I
Absolutely.
will say that I have found that when you reach out for help, people are willing to help you. Don't pretend to know something if you don't know it. Be honest, and someone will be willing to help you. But it's like putting your pride aside. But I
Yes.
was very thankful for the opportunity. And I tell you, it was a lot of work in a short period of time.
Mm-hmm.
But my old rusty brain did it, and I felt very proud of myself. So
Wonderful.
I would like to encourage the viewers, never think you're too old. Never, as long as you put in the time and the effort, you
Yeah,
can do it. I think you can accomplish anything you set your mind to.
absolutely. And then you want to create a resume that match that
Yes.
description. Look carefully at the job description that the company is advertising.
So should you update your resume to match the job that you're going for? Because I know someone told me, because
Yes.
at first I used to think it was such a pain. Why do I have to keep updating my resume? But it makes sense.
It must be tailored to fit
Yes.
that specific job, because the people who create one resume and send it to all these different jobs, one size does not fit all people.
That's true.
Does
That's
not.
true.
So create a resume and a job letter that fits that particular position. And the book, this Release to Shine career guide, it breaks it down for
You
you.
break it down so beautifully in this book. I mean, I really, and I'll show the book to the viewers again. Release to Shiny. You can find it on Amazon. Great advice in this book. So Megan,
Now, let me
practice.
just finish one thing,
Okay,
Bridget.
no problem.
Practice common interview questions, because before you go to that interview,
Yes,
practice those questions, practice the answers to them.
yes,
Refine your answers so you are not long-winded,
yes.
right? Just
Yes, that's great advice.
and if
And you said use keywords from the job description in your resume. Great advice, Andrew.
absolutely. And if they type the name of the job that they're going for, they're going to be interviewed for, and ask the internet to give them some common interview questions, you'll get a whole list. And it even guides you on how to answer those questions. So you do that. Take care of yourself.
When opportunities, you have a chapter on opportunities. When opportunities present themselves, if an opportunity comes your way, how should you proceed? I mean, if you think the opportunity is too big or too small, what is your advice? We kind of touched on this earlier, but I'd like to hear your take on it.
Opportunities come mainly sometimes through volunteering.
Yes.
Volunteer. Ask, do you have volunteer opportunities? I would like to. So you'd like to work with that organization.
Yes.
You really want to work with them. You know you have the skills, or you may just have a few of the skills that they require. But ask if you could volunteer with them.
Because that's to get your foot in the door, right? Maybe you'll get noticed.
Absolutely. And when you join that Toastmasters club and that Rotary club, as you introduce yourself, as you do speeches for these organizations, talk about what you're interested in. Talk about your skills. The first speech in your Toastmasters manual or your pathway now, they're not using the manuals anymore, they're using Pathway, which is a learning management system.
Yes.
The first speech is to introduce yourself. Talk about the skills, talk about the job that you're looking for. Somebody could be sitting in that audience listening to you. You never know.
That is
We
that
may
is so true.
know someone, and create that 30-second introduction. You have heard about your pitch, that introduction, 30 seconds, or what they call it, the elevator pitch.
Yes.
Practice it. Create one. Make sure that it talks about the skills that you have and where you want to go. Come on. You you come on, get that done. Get it done.
Yes. I'd like to welcome Maxine and Stephanie. Thank you so much for tuning in. Let me ask you this, Megan. For those who think that, okay, if I volunteer, I'm working for free, talk about the benefit of volunteering because, yeah, you may be working for free, but, you're getting your foot in the door and learning. You could be learning, that you could be learning skills and investing in yourself. I mean, I don't think we should ever turn down volunteer opportunities if they present themselves.
Absolutely not. It's an opportunity. I told you about that young man who volunteered and now he is a permanent employee with this organization that they believed in him so much. They sent him to Italy for a year.
Wow.
You remember, you're putting those skills that you're learning and that experience during your volunteer period, that will be going on your resume as well as experience. That
That
is something
that's
that you
that's
can't.
really good.
Don't
That's really
ever
good.
discount volunteering. You may not be getting money, but you're getting experience.
I agree. I agree. I've had some volunteering experiences that were wonderful. I learned a lot. They led to great opportunities. Andrew is saying, how do you ask for a pay increase?
Ah,
And let's say you've gotten the job, and how do you, how do you, Angie said, let's get right to business. How
okay.
do you ask for a pay increase?
So, Andrew, I'm assuming that you've been on the job for
For a
even
little while.
6 months
Yeah.
or a year. You've passed the probationary period. I'm assuming, okay? And now, when you go to sit with your boss about a pay increase, make sure you have your document. You prepare for this meeting. So you have your documents. This is what I've done. I've contributed so much to the organization's bottom line. I've done so and so. So you show everything that you've done and every new skill that you have developed as a result of being on that job, whether it's personal development that you've paid for or it is training that you've done with the organization and you've proven yourself and you take along to your evaluation with you. Did you get good evaluations? Yes, you take all of that to that meeting. And then you say, after you have shown everything, then you say, and I am requesting or I'm asking for an increase, or I believe that because I have contributed so much to the organization, that a pay increase of 3% or 5%.
3% or 5%. Okay.
I'm just assuming that we could,
Okay.
because it depends on what the organization pays.
Right.
We should do a little more research to find out how much do they usually increase for merit,
Okay.
you know, and you ask for your increase right there. But have your documents. You must have proof. You cannot just go and ask for a pay increase without
Yes.
having proof that you've done the work.
Yes. Chapter 7. You've got this. Please share some words of encouragement for the viewers who are going through the struggle of finding a job or wanting to make a career change.
Success is not immediate, success is a process. Make the most of this process by being positive, thinking positive, being willing to learn, being open to opportunities, networking. I cannot discount networking. A friend of mine once said to me, if you're not networking, you're not working. So you must meet people. You must meet people. And on LinkedIn, you can find all the people that you need to meet. I'm telling you, there's so many there. So many persons are on LinkedIn. Connect with them. Build
How
your.
do you go about doing that? How do you go about, making an introduction? with someone.
So you connect by uh, asking people to connect with you. So you
Okay.
send them, yes, you send them a message. I am Megan Wade, and I would like you to be a part of my network. Just
Okay.
a little text to them, and guess what? More often than not, people are answering, they're responding, and then you can start a conversation. But take a little time, get to know them, go on their profile and like something, leave a comment there. You see, all these men that I talked about earlier, they are all connected to me, except Chris Wilson, because I don't know if Chris is on LinkedIn.
Okay.
Them are connected to me on LinkedIn. I reached out to every one of them because I like successful people and people who have gone through stuff and they
Yeah.
have built their characters and they're successful. I like to associate with those people. Yes.
Yeah. You know what? I agree with you. Doing this podcast, I've met people that have become friends.
Mm-hmm.
And I can tell you, I learn from every single guest. Every single guest, I don't care what the topic is, I walk away a little wiser and I
Mm-hmm.
think better for the association. So I understand what you're saying about networking. I remember being afraid to ask people to be a guest on the podcast,
Mm-hmm.
and I remember there are some people who wouldn't respond. And it would be a little discouraging. And I felt like,
Mm-hmm.
but I had to push past that discomfort
Mm-hmm.
to keep inviting people to reach out to people. And like I said, I would have never, um, a lot of these people, I wouldn't even have known them if I hadn't reached out.
Mm-hmm.
So I do understand the benefit of networking. Now, if a person is shy, what would you say to them about making the first step to connect?
I am extremely shy. People refuse to believe it, but I'm
I was
extremely.
about to say you're not shy, Megan.
It is hard for me to connect with people. I'm learning and have been learning over the last few years to connect.
Yes.
I prefer to hide behind somebody else. I don't want to be out there in the front line at all. But networking, push yourself out of your comfort zone and start talking to people. Introduce yourself to them. Join that Toastmasters club. Join the Rotary Club or the Kiwanis Club. Join a club and get, or any other professional club, and get to know people. You would be surprised. People
Would you
want to
say
hear.
would you say that if we could learn to have the ability to not take rejection personally, like the job rejections, or if we didn't connect with someone we're trying to network with, do you think if we developed the attitude of, you know what, it's okay, and
Mhm,
just move on instead of internalizing? Because I think a lot of people, they base their worth on being validated by people, especially successful people. So, would you agree that we have to get to the point of learning to accept? It may not even be a rejection, but just not to internalize and take things so personally.
yes. One of the things that I tell myself is that all those no's are getting me closer to the yes.
Yes,
All of these no's are getting me so much closer to my yes because that yes has to come. And let
that's
me
true.
say something here, Bridget, because if you're unable to find a job, what skills do you have that could help you to start a little business? And this is why I'm saying somebody who's leaving prison has a story. That story needs to be refined. Listen to podcasts, listen to videos of persons who have gone through stuff. There are
Yes.
a lot of them out there. Get yourself on one of those podcasts to start talking. Refine your story. Refine it. You've got to refine it. So listen to some of these folks. Read some of the books. Chris Wilson, The Master Plan, Andre Norman, The Ambassador of Hope. All of these guys have books that talk about their experiences, where they're coming from, and how they have reached where they are right now. Listen to them. They are speaking on many platforms, doing well. You have a story. You already have something that can put you on that platform. Join a Toastmasters club and develop that public speaking, those skills, and the comfort level of talking to people. Toastmasters is a safe space to make mistakes and to grow. You'll be evaluated on your speeches, you'll be evaluated on your skill set. Take the plunge and be kind to yourself. Be kind to you. Forgive yourself. Talk to yourself in the mirror about forgiving yourself and affirm yourself. Tell
Yes,
yourself how much you love you. It's important. If you
it
don't
is.
love you, nobody else is going to love you.
It
Forgive
is true.
yourself. Forgive yourself. See the value within you because you are valuable, regardless of where you're coming from, regardless of the mistakes and the choices you've made. You are valuable. See yourself
That is so true.
valuable.
That is so true, Megan. You know, Megan, your book, I really am wishing you all the best with this project. You know, I think that I could see the time and effort that you put into it. And, you know, I texted you the other night and I told you I think it would be a great resource for prison ministries,
Mhm.
for single mothers groups, for youth groups, for any small class or ministry. I think this would be such a great tool. I mean, look, if you go to prison ministries and you're giving out Bibles and all of that, that's great. But I
Mhm.
think it's also great to give out something like this
Yes.
that can prepare a person for real life when
Mhm.
they come out. And I
Mhm.
think that if you use a book like this in a small group at church or wherever, it could be a community center, whatever, I think this would really help a lot of people. I
Mhm.
think that even those who have jobs now and they've not searched for a job in a while, they don't even understand the challenges out there today. I think this book will prepare them. I love how you have the section where you can write notes. Like I said, I love the song, I love the quotes, I love the scripture, all of that. You know, so I have to ask you, what is your goal for this book?
I am presently or currently creating courses for this book.
Good.
That's what I'm doing. And I'm hosting a job fair. I hosted a job fair last year with my church and Better Together at this organization that work with churches. And it was a success. This year, I'm hosting another job fair, and the books will be given to all job seekers. So we're
That's
looking for
wonderful.
sponsors to
Okay.
purchase the books so
Okay.
that it can be handed to each job seeker who comes through that job fair on April 30th.
April
There,
30th. So for those who are interested in sponsoring, please let me know. I'll put you in touch with Megan. And, you know, Megan, I am so glad that we finally got to do this. I hope you will come back because I think you have a lot of solid
yeah,
advice
yeah.
that can help people out there. And if there's someone that's interested in reaching out to you for coaching or whatever, is that okay?
Oh, absolutely. I will give you my information to put in your show notes.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay.
Put that in the show
Okay.
notes. Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah. And I have to share this. You know, years ago, I did a sermon at church and I mentioned attending Titchfield. And I
Mhm.
will never forget, you came to me after the service
Mhm.
And you told me that, I want you to share with the viewers your experience with Titchfield High School in Jamaica.
I had the opportunity to hand the gifts, the graduation gifts, to the graduation class of, I can't remember what year. I know I was working in the banking system during that period. I think I might have done, could have been my fifth or sixth year in the bank. This could be about 90 or 91
Okay.
when I went to Titchfield and I handed those gifts to those students, brilliant students, brilliant. And I thought, my goodness, this level of brilliance should be told to the world. I wanted a reporter to write the story about Titchfield. And I reached out to a few reporters. None of them were interested
Wow.
about that school, that Titchfield High
When
School.
you came to me after the service and you mentioned that, I felt so proud. So
Yeah.
I definitely wanted you to share that.
Yes. Brilliant. Brilliant. It was a good experience.
That is wonderful. Megan, what are your closing thoughts for tonight?
My closing thoughts are whatever situation that you are released from, remember you are released to shine. Allow those lessons that you've learned from that situation to propel you to greatness.
Yes.
Don't stay stuck in a place of negativity, but think about what you're growing, who you're growing into, because all of us grow or should grow from pain. Think about the butterfly, that beautiful butterfly. That is the result of a caterpillar struggling to get out of this cocoon, turning into this beautiful butterfly that pollinates the flowers. That's you. You are released from any situation that you're in to shine.
Megan, thank you so much. Remember to grab your copy of Release to Shine by Megan Wade. I'm telling you, it's worth it. And if you're interested in sponsoring, let me reach out to me, or I'll get you in touch with Megan to make sure that, look, Megan, if someone says to you, Megan, I can only afford to sponsor, one person, I can do one book. Will you turn it down?
Oh, absolutely not. Not,
So
not.
please don't think that your donation is too small. If
Mm,
you can donate one book, that's one person that will be helped.
absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
what's the date for the job fair, Megan?
April 30th. I
And
said
where is it?
that will be at 320 Tulip Boulevard, Port St. Lucie, Florida, 34953.
Great. Megan, thank you so much. This was a blessing. And like I said, I would definitely love to have you back.
Thanks for having me, Bridget. It has been a long time. You've been trying to get me for some time.
Yes, I have. Yes, I have.
I appreciate your patience.
Oh, you know what? I've learned doing this that nothing happens before it's time. I reached out to someone I'll never forget for months. She replied to me about 6 months later. So I'm learning not to take it personally and hey, just trust the process, as I said earlier. Do you have another book in the works?
Yes, a part two to Release to Shine. Yes, part two.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay, well, I'm definitely looking forward to it. And once again, thank you so much, Megan. I'd like to wish everyone a blessed week and let's all, you know, think about, shining. We have to shine. Like I think of, do others see God's light in me? Am I really representing? Even when I have a bad day, I am learning to stop and think because I don't want my words. I don't want my words to cause someone to stop and think that, what, this is not real. We all have good days and bad days, but I think we can all in our own way shine and help other people. Megan, you writing this book, I'm telling you, you will be helping so many people shine.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thanks for having me, Bridget.
Oh, you're so welcome. You're so welcome. Take care, everyone, and God bless. Don't forget, grab your copy.